Hey everybody, Brock Frady here, helping you enjoy your ride. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at this beautiful celestial silver metallic 2024 Lexus TX350. But before we get started, I would like to say a huge thank you to Flow Lexus in Greensboro, North Carolina for the opportunity to film this beautiful TX. I'll be sure to leave all of Flow Lexus of Greensboro's contact information, including their website, in the description box below. The RX350 long wheelbase didn't work out too well. It was a great vehicle. I mean, it's a Lexus. It's an RX350 Lexus. However, the back seats were virtually non-existent, not functional, and Lexus still had a void to fill. A 3-row vehicle that was Lexus quality, Lexus luxury, that filled the spot of people that did not want a vehicle that was the size of a GX or an LX or the price point of a GX or LX. And what are we going to do to fill that void? Well, the TX350, after years and years of research and all the things that Lexus did to put this thing together, have culminated in this vehicle. Now, I got to admit, whenever I first saw it, I thought, my goodness, that thing looks long. It looks short and kind of stubby. It's got kind of a unique, weirdish looking front end. But the more time that I've spent with this thing, the more that I've come to realize that this thing is actually going to be a home run for Lexus. And in this video, I'm going to show you why. We're going to take a look at the outside, the inside. We're going to end up behind the wheel where I show you all the buttons, and then of course we'll take it for a spin. And I think by the end of this video, you're going to see that this thing, just like me, you'll agree that it's a winner chicken dinner. The overall length is 203.1 inches. The overall width is 78.3 inches. Height, 70.1 inches. Wheelbase, 116.1 inches. Turning circle is 38 feet. The curb weight is 4,730 pounds with a maximum tow capacity of 5,000 pounds, and it has a gross weight of 6,130 pounds. The very first thing that struck me about the TX is that it's not a GX. It's weird because I've been so used to having a big, tall, third-row SUV from Lexus. Big, beefy, you know, because there was the RX, which was kind of a short vehicle. Then there was the GX and then the LX. So that was a pretty big jump in height. And this one, it's like the height of an RX. But that thing is super long. So this is going to fill the void where the third row RX could not fill the void. You can sit comfortably back in that third row. Now, saying all that, this is a 6-passenger vehicle. 2 seats up front, 2 seats in the middle, 2 seats in the rear. That's okay though. You'll see why whenever we go to the inside. But I love the way this looks. It's got kind of a slingshot look to it. You can see there that it's kind of sweeps to the rear. You have that big rear portion, that big black rear section. I don't know what that's all about. I think that that's just to break up the silver or to break up the color of the body to make it not overwhelming. But that is where the, basically starting about right here from back, obviously is going to be all of your storage capacity and that beautiful third row seat. You've got crossbars on the very top there. That's nice for hauling luggage, which is what Lexus anticipates all the families are going to be doing with this thing. Notice also that you have sensors right here on the side. You see that? That's part of the safety system. You also have one in the rear, and I've never seen sensors that far on the fenders or on the sides of a vehicle. Of course, you have them in the front bumpers and in the rear bumpers and everything, but that's something new for Lexus. Notice also the wheels. I really like these wheels. It's got a good dynamic kind of a look between silver and the piano black look. You've got ventilated disc brakes up front and ventilated disc brakes in the rear to keep them nice and cool. And as I said in the introduction, this one is celestial silver metallic. And I always love Lexus metallic colors. They're so rich. It looks like you can reach into it because they're so deep and nice. You can see it right there on that rear view mirror. Speaking of the rear view mirror, you can see that it's silver and or the color of the body, then that nice silver chrome piece right there. Then you have a camera underneath, and of course an LED light turn signal there on the very edge of it. Now about the front end, I want to find out from you if you feel the same way I do about this front end, because Lexus seems to take chances, take big risks on the front ends of their vehicle. You know, whenever they came out with that big Spindle Grille, everybody went crazy about it and said either they loved it or they hated it, and then everybody got used to it, and now it's a signature of Lexus. Well, this seems to be the way of Lexus now, and you can tell that it's still got that spindle look to it. But this one is a more conservative Spindle Grille. It's actually more body colored down low at the very bottom, and you've got a big, kind of like a gap right there, although it's not a gap because you've got safety system things right here going on. Also, you've got full LED lights up front. I really like these full LED daytime running light strips. It looks like an inverted L. That's really nice. And then here down low, of course, you have LED fog lights, an LED cornering lamp, and a park assist sensor sitting all right in there, tucked into the corner of the fender right there. That's a really cool look. So I would love to hear in the comments section what you guys think about the front end of this thing. Personally, I really like it. I think it's going to be more aerodynamic, and overall, even if you don't like it now, it's gonna grow on you, just like they always do. On the rear of the TX, I love how Lexus is integrating the light bar on all of their vehicles, and then with Lexus written out in big spaces right there on the back of it. Of course, you have the TX350 logo right there. But I really like how the rear of the vehicle, a lot like the front of the vehicle, is not overdone. It's simple, it's clean. It doesn't have really big sharp angles, and it just looks nice. It's a real conservative vehicle as far as the looks and the dynamics of all of the angles and everything are concerned. It's super conservative. Now let's take a look at the rear door and the cargo capacity, because this is really why you're buying this thing. It's got so much room in the back. Here's the key fob. I've got it on my person, and then there's a button here that says hold. I'm just gonna press that and hold it down. Here comes the door, and I love how it goes up faster than a traditional Lexus rear door. That's nice how they've sped that process up. The third row is up and in place, but look there. You've got a real big section of storage right there, so you can actually get weekend bags or groceries or all the cleats and the soccer things all right there. That's a really nice dynamic. Then you have a couple of switches here, and those switches are going to be to power fold these two rear seats. And let me show you how that operation works. So whenever you want to fold the rear seats, all you're going to do is press down on these, and then they're going to go down right there. Now the headrest will automatically drop down just like you just saw. A couple of clicks to make sure everything is in place, and then that is the operation of the third row, and it gives you a beep to let you know that it's fully folded down in place. Now check out that tremendous storage area right there. You're going to be able to get a lot of things in there. Second row seating, and notice that you have tethers right there, and it says third seat. And then on that one it says top tether. That's going to be for your child safety seats. So you can actually get 4 child safety seats in this thing. And notice also the color of the interior. We'll go over that in just a minute, but that to me looks gorgeous with this silver exterior. Now we're gonna fold up the second row seats, and I'm gonna show you the maximum cargo capacity in this thing, because it is absolutely tremendous. I'm gonna show you a couple of different ways that you can manipulate this seat. Number one, this is probably the one that you're gonna use the most, and that is a button right here on the shoulder of the seat. Press it in and hold. And then it's like a power thing. It folds the seat back forward, and it automatically slides the seat forward to give your rear occupants, your third row occupants, the access into the third row. That's number one. Number two is if you, or actually there's gonna be 3. So this is the second one. So when your rear third row people are sitting in their back seat, they can actually pull this, do that same operation that I just did with the power button on the shoulder right there, and then they can get out themselves. And then this is what the seat looks like after performing step number 3. Step number 3 is to pull this lever, and you can see it says 1 right there, and then it says 2 there. So now that third row is folded flat, and it's pretty much level with how the third row is folded flat. I'm going to perform the same operation on this on the passenger side seat. Then we'll take a look at the max cargo capacity. So there you are, maximum cargo capacity of the TX350. That is a boatload of room. Isn't that great? And here's a look from the side into the back. I really appreciate that. The other thing about this vehicle is that when you're sitting inside of it, it's tall. You have a ton of headroom. You don't need to worry about if you're tall, if you're gonna fit in this thing. Trust me, you will fit in this thing with no problem at all. It is super comfortable inside too. I can't wait to show you the interior features. Speaking of interior features, check out this door panel. You've got like a black material here, and then you have a soft touch brown, beautiful brown material here. This one is equipped with the Mark Levinson stereo. All of your power switches here, door handle here. I'll show you the operation of that in just a minute, but then you have your sunshades there to cover up the glass in the rear of the vehicle. So let's talk second row room. The second row in this vehicle is so spacious, and I have a feeling that you're going to enjoy the view of the third row as well, but the second row has a lot to offer. This is going to be as comfortable as the front seats, in my opinion. Look at the amount of room. Now the seat that I'm behind is adjusted for somebody that's kind of shorter, but still they would have tremendous room up front. But look at what a 6-foot person is going to have back here. Also, there are heated and ventilated seats in the second row. Now this particular vehicle is the luxury package, so it's going to be dressed up some with the Mark Levinson stereo and window shades and things like that. But for the first time in a long time, Lexus is putting heated and ventilated seats in the second row of a vehicle. You also have a lot of power points. They're going to be lightning cables for Apple devices. You also have a panorama roof, and everything just feels, like I said before, this thing feels super tall, but on the outside it doesn't look as tall as it feels inside. And that's a pretty magic combination that Lexus has done here. So as far as the second row is concerned, it is uber comfortable. Also, the seats are going to recline. This is as far back as it goes, but right there is kind of standard, and then you can recline it back to that. Really nice second row. Now let's jump in the back and take a look at the third row. So here we are, third row. You can see that the seat is back pretty good so that somebody taller can sit in the second row. And here I am in the third row, a 6-footer, and it's actually not that bad. It's very soft. There's soft touch materials right here for me to put my elbow on. 2 cup holders. I don't know why you would need 2. Then there's a button here to push this seat forward, an electric release, an Apple charger, a lightning charger, a vent in the ceiling for AC and heat, third row lighting, and also what's really cool about this is that this seat will recline. So then, look how comfortable this is. And there's still decent storage there for the rear of the vehicle. How cool is this? It's actually a functional rear seat that adults can sit in comfortably. Leave it up to Lexus to finally accomplish this. And believe it or not, I think that this is going to be a big reason why people are going to look at the TX over the GX, definitely over an RX, is because it has a functional third row seat that adults can sit in. Now, this one is not 7-passenger, so take that into consideration. But as far as a second row seating situation, this one is absolutely perfect.
The engine in the TX350 is a 2.4 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged gas engine. Produces 275 horsepower and 317 pound-foot of torque. And that is where you're going to feel like this thing has a lot of power, because when an engine has more torque than it has horsepower, that's where you feel the pull into your seat. And this one has a lot more torque than horsepower. I love that. It has 16 valves, dual overhead cam, and variable valve timing. All of that is mated to an 8-speed shiftable automatic transmission, and it's available in all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive variant.
Before we hop into the driver's seat, I want to show you something cool about the door handles of the TX. This is your key fob, and of course, as long as you have this on your person, you can work the vehicle completely. You do have lock on the top, unlock, hold, and hold. The first hold is for the rear lift gate. The second hold is for the panic alarm. As long as you have this on you, you can work the vehicle. And the handle. So the handle is actually fixed. You see that? Doesn't move. There's a button integrated into the door handle, and all you do is tap the button and the door pops. How cool is that? And then when you're finished using your TX, there's a little dimple right there on the door handle. You touch that, it locks, the mirrors fold in, and you're good to go. So opening up the TX, you are introduced to a level of luxury that I think not even the new GX has. This is like super, super luxurious, and I absolutely love it. Take a look at, and we saw this in the back door, but there's like this beautiful brown leather material. Of course, the Mark Levinson stereo upgrade, that stereo absolutely thumps. And then you have, of course, all of your different power door locks, windows, everything right there, auto folding mirrors, and then your door handle. This is how you're going to exit the vehicle. So whenever you want to exit the vehicle, all you do is take with your thumb and you push that in, and then the door pops open. The reason there is an arrow there is that if you lose power, you can open the door by pulling this twice, and that allows you to open the door manually, and you can see the instructions are right there. So that's the door. That's really, really nice. Now, moving to the driver's seat, look how many different ways of power that you have in this thing. So this, of course, is going to move the seat up and back. This is going to move the seat back, up and back. Lumbar support, and you can move it up and down and in and out. And then this is going to be for your seat cushion extender. You can see that, how it's gonna increase and decrease the size of the seat cushion. Right here on the left side in front of your knee when you're sitting in the driver's seat is going to be your gauge brightness, odometer, fuel, rear lift gate, and then memory seat settings for the seat, steering wheel, and mirrors. And of course, it does have a power tilt and telescope steering wheel. That is going to be this little handle right there. Take a look at the color. I love the color combination in this thing, especially with that beautiful celestial silver metallic exterior. That is just absolutely fabulous. And the stitching right here that goes down the middle portion of the front seat, that's nice. But then you have like an Alcantara feel type of material right here. It just gives it a super luxurious feel. The bolstering is really nice. They're nice and thick, and they're also, they're supportive, but they're soft at the same time, and that's gonna be super comfortable for long rides. Of course, the front seats are heated and ventilated. Nice touch there. And also notice the contrast stitching that goes there. The contrast stitching is also on the center console there. All super nice. Now let's hop in and start it up and take a look at all the buttons. Now, taking a look at the steering wheel, over here on the left side is going to be audio stuff. So you have your volume here, and you have a multi-directional keypad right here. Then you also have a pages icon right here. On the right side, you have another multi-directional keypad, another pages icon, and then radar cruise control and lane mitigation on the right side of the steering wheel. And then behind the steering wheel, you have paddle shifters. So you're gonna downshift on the left, and you're gonna upshift on the right. Of course, you have headlight controls here, and you have automatic daytime running lights, automatic high beams that can actually sense when a vehicle is in oncoming traffic, and it will dim the high beams down so that you don't blind people, but that you can utilize the full effects of your high beams even like in city situations, and that is a really fantastic feature. And of course, your turn signal as well. On the right side, automatic windshield wipers. So it's automatic rain sensing windshield wipers, and then this is going to control the rear wiper and everything there as well. What you see right here is a little system that is going to monitor your face and your head movement in accordance with while you're driving. So if it senses that you're looking away from the road, it's going to warn you and say, hey, put your eyes back on the road. That's a really neat system. And then here is the power tilt and telescope steering wheel function, and then you can push it away from you and pull it back toward you there as well. So now I mentioned that you have pages icons at the bottom of the steering wheel here and on the right side as well. These pages icons are going to coordinate with the heads-up display and also with the display in the center console or in the dash there. This is where you're going to be able to make selections and to make adjustments on how your display looks and also how things like the safety systems work. So when I reference in the next portion pressing the pages icons, that's what these mean, okay? You can see on my dash, I have in the middle the digital speedometer that says 0, and it says I'm in park. And then on the right side, you can see I have the compass display. So I just press the right pages icon, and now I'm pressing display. And now that's going to change the actual display that you see right there. You see? Multi-information display. So I can see total average miles per gallon. There's audio on the left. There's compass on the right. And then it changes also the middle where it says cruise control. Then you can see where on the left it says eco. So my driving situation. And so that's all display. I actually think I would prefer that, because it's going to show my radio on my left, compass on the right, and that is totally customizable. So you can use the pages icon on the dash to customize all that as well. Now taking a look at this big beautiful display that's on your dash in the TX, notice that it is a fixed screen, and as I'm sitting here in the driver's seat, the view is totally unobstructed. It's not getting in the way at all. The screen, what you're looking at right now, it looks like the screen is kind of flashing a little bit like that. That is simply the refresh rate on my camera. I assure you that when you're looking at it in person, it does not look like that. It's this nice, solid, paper white look that looks muted and very clean, very clear. I assure you of that. Notice that your start button is here. That's how you start the vehicle, of course. And then you have buttons here that are selectable. You can press the navigation button, and then when you want to actually use the navigation that's in the vehicle, you just hit get started. But there's workarounds. I can show you that here in just a second. Then here is audio. You can press this for sources, and it will allow you to choose the different sources right there. We can X out of this, and up there on that screen you saw manage devices. That's where you can quickly link your Bluetooth device to the vehicle, whether it is an Android or an Apple. Then you can press this, and that is phone, and that's obviously connect a device. Notice also that whenever I'm pressing the buttons on the screen, or not buttons, but pressing the screen, the icons, that the screen response is very fast, very clean, and you cannot really see fingerprints on it, which is really, really nice. Pressing the vehicle, so this is going to be drive modes and whatnot. So under drive modes, I have normal, sport, eco, and custom. Normal is going to be a combination of sport and eco, and sport is going to give you better response for steering, better response on the engine, and in other words, throttle mapping. So whenever you press down on the accelerator, it's going to take less pedal travel in order to achieve speed when you're in sport mode, and it's going to tighten the steering a little bit. Then whenever you go to eco, it's going to require more pedal travel in order to achieve speed, but that's okay because you're saving fuel. So eco, if I had this vehicle, I would be driving it in eco pretty much all the time. However, you can go to custom, and then you can go to the custom settings here, and you can actually customize the powertrain, the steering, and the AC, because by the way, whenever you put it in eco mode and the AC is on, it's also going to restrict the air output in it in order to appropriate more power and more fuel efficiency, so that your air conditioning is actually going to go down a level. I really recommend you going in and kind of customizing the vehicle the way you want it to be whenever you get one of these. Here's the thing that I really like too. Lexus made the operation for the heated and ventilated seats, and also the heated steering wheel front and center. You don't have to go digging in the system in order to simply turn on your ventilated or heated seats. Also notice you have climate controls here. They're all touch sensitive, and you can adjust the fan speed here or pull it back some if you want to. Notice you also have dials here, and it says low because I have it on the coldest setting because it's hot outside, so I have it nice and cool in the vehicle. Front defrost, your volume button, that's also power, and rear defrost and side mirror defrost because the side mirrors are heated as well. You can press climate for a quick climate thing. So this is really nice. S-Flow, you can direct air only to occupied seats. So the TX can sense, I just heard the air in the rear turn off. The TX can sense when someone is sitting in the back seat. And if this is on, then it's going to automatically turn the air on to make them comfortable. But if no one is riding in the TX with you, you can then turn this or leave it like that. And it's going to make it so that the air is not on in the back seats. So that's really cool. Windshield wiper de-icer, that's how you turn that on. So that will heat up your windshield, and it's actually a part of the windshield where the windshield wipers are resting, and it will de-ice them if it's really cold outside. I like that. I'm going to deactivate S-Flow because I want the air to be on in the TX in the entire cabin while I'm in here making this video. So that's pretty cool. Then I can press this, and that is frequently used, comfort and convenience. How neat is that? And then I can swipe, and this gives me different ways I can set up the different things. So this is like a quick access to safety, to drive mode, to heads up display, frequently used. That is so cool. So that's that little grid icon right there in the middle. Now looking here in the center console, right up there up front is going to be a button that says P and a button that says View. We'll take a look at those in just a minute. You also have lightning cables right there, so that's where you can charge your iPhone, or you can lay it down on this Qi wireless charging pad and it will charge your phone right there. Really nice. Now moving to the gear shifter here, if you're familiar with a Toyota Prius or the Lexus CT200H or basically any Toyota based hybrid that has a gear shifter like this, you're fine. But here's how it works in case you're not familiar. You can see there is a little dot right there, and then it gives you an indication where you can go left and down, and that's drive. You can go left and up and release it, and that's reverse. And then you can push the button here, and that puts it back into park. Then there's a button here that says hold. That's the brake hold feature, so that's what will keep it holding at the brakes activated at a stoplight. So you can pull up, as long as that feature is on, and it's not on right now because I don't have my seatbelt on, but if this feature is active, when you come to a complete stop, it will hold the TX at a stop light or a stop sign. When the light turns green, you just tap the gas and go. Traction control off, automatic engine shut off, off. So if this feature is active, then when you pull to a complete stop, the engine will turn off automatically. If you press this and you see that icon on the dash, then that means the engine will remain operational at a complete stop. And then this is the parking brake, so you actually push it down to deactivate the parking brake, you pull it toward you to activate the parking brake. Take a look at the cup holders here. They're really nice because they're boxy, they're square shaped, which allows you to get a bigger like water bottle or something in there like that. But then there's another feature here that it says unlock. And so you can press that and you can fully take this out in case you don't want to use that for cup holders. You can just take them out. And then you can do this and lock them back into place. Cool feature. So now let's take a look at what these buttons do down here. There's one button that says P, and it looks like it has a steering wheel. You can see that when I push that button, camera is activated right there. I don't have my seatbelt on, so it's not going to do it, but what that is automatic parking. And it's nice that it has a dedicated button so that if you want the TX to park itself for you, you can push this button and then select where you want it to park, and it will automatically park itself. The other button says View, and it does a stitched composite view from all of the different cameras surrounding the vehicle, and it makes it look like a drone shot so that you can check the surroundings of the TX just to make sure that you're good to go before you drive. Pretty neat setup. Now, the thing that we're looking at now, this looks kind of odd, but this is the map lights. So this is in the ceiling. When you're sitting in the driver's seat, over here on the left side is going to be for your lights. This is going to be to open the screen on that beautiful panoramic moonroof. This is going to be to open the moonroof, close the moonroof, tilt open just to vent it. And then this is going to be for the door to make all the lights cut on whenever the door opens. That cuts on all of the lights inside the TX. And then this is the SOS safety feature. In case you have an emergency, you can press that button. Sunglass holders right there. And then you have a cool little doodad here for the rear view mirror. So I just pulled the little tab right there, and you can see that it activates a camera. So there is your rear view camera. And then you can adjust the camera all right here. So you can adjust the brightness and the dimness and the angle and all of that stuff for the rear view camera. That's a pretty cool thing right there. I'm going to put it in drive so you can actually see that right now we're moving and it's moving away. Isn't that a neat thing? So that's what your rear view camera is. I like that feature. Okay, let's take this beauty for a ride. I have a feeling that this thing is going to be wonderful on the road, and it's going to be able to take all 6 of your passengers and yourself in wherever you want to go with the greatest of ease and the greatest of comfort. I mean, I know you know that Lexus has a really good legacy of being smooth, reliable, value-worthy and driven vehicles, although they are a luxury brand, so they're at a higher price point, but it's worth every penny. But this one, it's like Lexus has taken their whole mentality of Kaizen, which means continuous improvement, and you can really see that reflected in this vehicle. I've only been driving it for a few minutes, and I can already tell that the fit and finish is just on par with the most expensive Lexus vehicles out there. This is a really cool feature that whenever you come to a stop, it shows you the vehicle on the left, the composite view from above, then the front mirror activates, or the front camera activates there as well. So now sitting here, I just activated the brake hold feature so I can take my foot off the brake. That's really nice. And so while I'm sitting here at a stoplight, I don't have to keep my foot on the brake at all. I can just sit and enjoy my company. Then when the light turns green, all I have to do is press the accelerator and go, and everything will resume as normal. And that button is right down here on the center console. Light just turned green, so I'm gonna go. I am in regular, I think I'm in comfort mode right now. I'm gonna kind of open it up a little bit here. That's nice. That's really nice. The thing that is really nice too about it is the fact, of course, you know that this is a 4-cylinder turbo, but it doesn't have it's not like it's struggling in any way. It feels really confident. There is a good amount of turbo lag. I guess just due to the fact that it's not a twin turbo, it's a single turbo. So whenever you mash the gas, there is a pretty big delay there, but you know, that's something that you can get used to over time. I'm going 55 miles per hour right now, and it feels absolutely fabulous. There's plenty of, as far as the blind spots are concerned, not really an issue in any way. The rear view mirrors are nice and big, and they of course have the blind spot monitors in them, so I'm not worried about blind spots at all. And changing lanes, heads up display is nice and crisp and colorful. I love the rear view mirror here. It's the camera that is facing backwards so that I can see what's behind me. That's a fantastic feature. Very little road noise from the tires, very little noise from the engine. Everything is just smooth as silk. I can feel the steering wheel keeping me inside my lane, and it's not obtrusive, it's gentle, and it is monitoring the lines on the road, making sure that it's keeping me in my lane. And I recently test drove a vehicle which will remain nameless, but its vehicle, you know, the steering inside the lane mitigation was extremely strong, and it like jerked back and forth. This is smooth as silk. So this is a very enjoyable ride. Another thing that you'll see when you get into the cockpit of one of these things is if you're tall, it feels cavernous. It feels really big inside. And the thing that I enjoy about that is the fact that the seat really supports you all over. The seat feels really, really nice. And this area here in the middle, it's really wide, but not so wide that it gets in the way of my legs. So this is very comfortable. But the reason that it's important that this is wide is because I can put my phone here, I can get a water bottle here, and I have plenty of room to rest my arm, which is what I tend to do naturally. Another nice thing about it as well is the fact that the armrest on the left side, on the driver's door, is nice and wide, so I can put my forearm on it, and it feels, I mean, it's like a natural feel right there to put my forearm on the door right here. That's a good fit. I'm going to go on to a little bit of city driving, because I think that this is kind of primarily what you're going to be doing in this car. It's almost like you're going to either be in the city, kind of in tight spaces, shopping centers, grocery stores type stuff, but also on the highway, family trips and whatnot. And it's totally capable. A little bit of engine noise, that's to be expected, but again, it doesn't feel like it's struggling at all. I just look down and I'm going 10 over. But that's one of the things, if you've never owned or driven a Lexus, that's one of the things that you'll recognize when you get behind the wheel the very first time, because it is so whisper quiet, and the vehicles are so well put together that you look down and you're going faster than you anticipated because there's so little road noise. And that actually contributes, by the way, to a lack of driving fatigue. A lot of people, I was in the business for about 15 years selling Lexus, and one of the things that I would always run across, or often to new Lexus owners, was the fact that when they took a long trip, they weren't worn out. Because the car, if it's not very well put together and doesn't have all the sound dampening materials that Lexus does, then the car kind of beats you up over a long trip. In one of these vehicles, when you get out from a long trip, you're still fatigued, but you're nowhere near as tired as you normally are in a car that doesn't have the quality of a Lexus vehicle. So as you can see, city driving, nice and easy. Of course, what I consider city driving and what you may consider city driving, if you're in the Northeast or you're way out west in California or something, this is not city driving, because I'm not in bumper to bumper traffic, but I can assure you that it's going to be fantastic in whatever driving situation you happen to find yourself. I just hit a huge pothole, but I couldn't really tell because it's so quiet. I like the screen. The screen is big without being too big and obtrusive. It's not like a 47-inch monitor like you see in a Tesla. This is very, very nice. The thing that I like too is that Lexus has put in an actual physical volume button and power button for the stereo system. That's really nice. And then you have your beautiful controls for your climate system there, and everything is nice. Also, I love the panoramic sunroof. I'm a huge fan of pano sunroofs. Those are super, super nice. It just makes it, especially for your rear passengers, It makes it feel so good. It's so roomy, open and airy. I like the way those work. Taking a left here, corners nicely. The response that right there was no turbo lag at all. Of course, I really didn't get into it that much, but yeah. So coming up to a stop, brakes are grabby, but not overly grabby. The shifting of the transmission is wonderful. You don't even really feel the shifts in the transmission. I really appreciate that as well. Another red light here, but yeah, the shifting of the transmission. And then you also have manual mode. So all I did is I took the gear shifter here and I pulled it back toward me, and now M is highlighted in blue right here on the gear shifter, and I can change gears manually now right here on the steering wheel. I can downshift on the left and upshift in the right. On the dash it says M1. That's because I am in manual mode in first gear. So I'm gonna open it up a little bit here and see how this works. There we go, that's nice. Okay, so that is much better shifting than the old manual shifting of Lexus vehicles. It actually feels like, oh yeah, that's much more responsive than the manual shifting of the transmissions of yesteryear. That feels good. I'm still in manual mode and it's holding the revs right there. That's nice. So I'm in fourth gear now, just shifted to fifth. That's pretty cool. So now if I want to move back over into drive, all I do is shift over and down, and now I'm in regular drive mode, and the TX is now going to take over and shift it just like a regular vehicle or a regular drive mode. That's really neat. I wasn't expecting the transmission, the paddle shifters. I thought it was just going to be that numb little, you know, shifting wannabe situation, but that actually felt pretty good. That's nice. And you can, again, you can do that at any speed. It feels really weird to be in a vehicle that you have an expansive third row that can seat adults, and you have room behind the third row, and the vehicle drives this small. I mean, this actually feels like I'm driving just a regular, not small SUV, but mid-size SUV, and it is in no way like really huge feeling at all. It feels nimble and quick. However, I'm able to get a lot of people in the rear of it. That's a weird feeling, and Lexus has executed this perfectly. Another thing about this vehicle that I didn't mention yet, it of course has the radar cruise control and everything, and that's the operation that you're going to see right here on the right side of the steering wheel. But another thing about Lexus radar cruise control is that it has a thing called all-speed dynamic radar cruise control. I don't know if they still call it that. That's what they used to call it. But it, as the name implies, it can be utilized at all speeds. In other words, if it senses that, if it starts trailing a vehicle in front of me, and it's basically using that vehicle in front of me to determine its distance and its speed, and then there's a stoplight ahead, the vehicle will pull me to a complete stop without me having to put my foot on the brake. And then once the light turns green or the car in front of me goes, all I have to do is hit resume and it will continue. So that actually is a fantastic, not only safety feature, but a convenience feature as well. I love the way Lexus does their all-speed dynamic radar cruise. It's so interesting to be driving a vehicle in the mid 50 miles an hour and feel like you're driving a vehicle going 30. It's so nice and relaxing to experience that. So here are my recommendations. If you are taking a look at a mid-size to larger size SUV, pricing in the 60s or 70s, and you're definitely going to want to take a look at this because of the fact that, and I would say that you normally may not take a look at a Lexus maybe, because of the fact that, you know, the GX has always been well known for basically not having a very functional third row seat. Same for the LX. I would say you should consider a TX if you're considering a vehicle with a third row needing that extra room, because not only do you have the extra room in the seats, you've got more room in the very, very back for storage, more so than any other Lexus vehicle ever. And this is definitely a contender because it's fuel efficient. It's not going to take up a massive amount of room in your driveway or garage, and it's a Lexus, so it's going to last you as long as you need it to last. It's an interesting perspective. Of course, it's luxurious, it's easy to drive, easy to operate. I'm thoroughly impressed. I think I just sold myself a Lexus. Okay, everybody, that's going to do it for our look at the 2024 Lexus TX350. I gotta tell you, it's like when I do a Lexus, I'm coming home and I'm putting on a nice pair of blue jeans. You know, it's just ones that you're used to and they're really, really comfortable. That's what I feel in this vehicle. It just feels at home. It feels wonderful. And I normally don't do an outro like this, but my goodness, the TX is really surprised me. I didn't really honestly think that much of it when I saw it from the outside, but overall, whenever you process everything that this thing is, all of the features, the roomy third row and the storage behind and all of the cool features, but at the same time it's easy to operate, and the lack of road noise and just the luxury touches everywhere. This is an amazing vehicle that I'm glad Lexus has brought to the market, because this one is going to absolutely sell like crazy. Get used to seeing these on the road, because this is a lot of car. That's going to do it for our look at the TX. Again, I would like to say a huge thank you to Flo Lexus of Greensboro in beautiful Greensboro, North Carolina, for the opportunity to film this TX. Be sure to check them out on the Worldwide Internet Machine. As you know, I'll leave their website in the description box below. But remember, the most important thing of all, have a wonderful day, everybody. No, the camera didn't freeze. I just stood there like that.